Shoulder, babe. He ain't gotta be on my shoulder. Y'all hear the theme music? That means that we are live on YouTube. Get the dog off my shoulder, Sheri. Stop it. Anyway, what's up, YB? We're going live at 8 a.m. Breakfast with the Brookses on YouTube. We're talking about conflict, managing versus resolving it. There are some conflicts that you're just not going to resolve, okay?
But you can learn how to manage.
Absolutely, like this one right here. Lord Jesus. Y'all pray for it, brother. We're going to be getting started at 8 a.m. This is the third part of a three-part series. I hope you can make it. At the end of the day, we all, including especially me, we all need some help. Y'all be good. We'll talk soon. What's going on, Nikki? What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's a situation over here, y'all. Sheri got me all out of sorts.
I didn't do anything.
Yes, you did.
No, with me.
Yes, you did.
I did nothing.
Do me a favor, share this out to as many people as possible, guys. Over the next few minutes, we're going to be counting down. We're counting down to the last part of a three-part series, Breakfast with the Brookses. Super excited. I am tired. Nikki, okay, I broke down and had to get me some coffee. Had to break out my coffee this morning. Sheri put me through the ringer last night. Well, not Sheri, but that our newest addition to our family. I'll put it that way. Anyway, hope you guys are here. Yes, he was already on Facebook, so he's gonna make his YouTube debut, I'm sure. Jackson, no whining, sir.
He wants to be part of the show.
He wants to be a part of the show.
Jackson, hush.
Hush, Jackson, it's not your turn yet. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses, guys. We're going to be going live in about 2.5 minutes. Do me a huge favor. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Please
Yes.
share this out.
And also, for those of you that are new joining us this morning, please post in what city or country you're joining us from and what the weather is.
Yep, drop it in the chat. City temperature. City temperature. Jackson, no whining. No whining, Jackson. He's 8 months old, y'all. He's trying to figure it out. He don't like the music, I don't think. You don't like that music? That's what I hope I'm sure. Because he is going to whine until you get it. Great morning, everybody. Great morning. Yeah, I'll try that, Nikkei. I'll try that. 2 minutes. Countdown is on. We'll be live in 2 minutes. Share this out to as many people as possible. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. And we're excited to have you guys. We'll be here in about a minute and a half. Let's get started. We're going to get started in about a minute, 20 seconds, guys. Do me a favor, share this out to as many people as possible. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. What's going on?
Yeah,
I think that's Kawan. What's up, brother? Good to see you. 73 degrees, cloudy in Richmond. Glad to have you on, sir. We're going to be talking about some things, hopefully, that will help you out. Breakfast with the Brookses goes down in about 1 minute, guys. We got a new addition to the show today.
We have a special guest.
A special guest. And we're going to get him introduced to y'all so that we can get out of here. Great morning, YB. Good to see you. Do me a favor, guys. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now. Certainly share it out. We appreciate that. Let's get as many people on this morning as possible. Breakfast with the Brookses goes down in about 30 seconds. Yeah. Great morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
What is the weather in your city? What city are you chiming in from? What's the weather like? It's overcast, cloudy, raining here in Virginia Beach. Good morning, Tawana.
Good morning.
What's up? Great morning. everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
What's up?
Good morning.
How y'all doing?
We have somebody invading the show this morning.
Just invading our space. Hey, Janelle. What's up? What's up? What's
I want
up?
to introduce everybody to Jax.
This is Jackson. Everybody say hi, Jackson.
Jackson, you're not going to say hi?
Jackson is trying to figure it out. He don't know what's going on. He's whining in his crate. Jackson, up here, buddy. Hey, Jax. Jax. There we go. You see the folks? You see yourself? You see it? What's going on? Hey, Deirdre, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, Edith. Hey, Edith. What's going on? Let's do this. That's what I'm talking about, Edith.
All right.
Put Jackson in his crate and let's do this. Everybody say hi, Jackson. Everybody's saying hi to you, Jackson. Okay? No, they're saying hi to you. They're there. They're saying hi to you, not me. They're saying hi to you. Okay. Anyway, guys, let's get ready to get into this content. Managing versus resolving conflict in relationships. The blueprints for success. We're going to be right back right after this. Y'all share this out to as many people as you can, and let's get this party started.
Right. If you're new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe.
Yep.
And make sure you ring the bell.
Ring the bell, like the page, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so that you can get more notifications. We'll be back in a few seconds. Hey, Edith, good to see you. Deirdre showing up. Karen, what's going on? Karen said Jackson is adorable. Everybody's going to love Jackson. He is made his debut this morning. Hopefully he won't whine too much while in the crate. And we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Lord have mercy.
All right, we're back, guys.
We're back.
Morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday this morning.
Good to see everybody.
We had a interesting, well, not too interesting. He wasn't too bad. He just got up early this morning.
Very early.
And was whining, and you thought something was wrong with him.
I thought something was wrong with the dog. I'm saying, what's happening?
And so he and I went for a walk at 5 o'clock this morning, and he just wanted to walk and play. And
hey, man.
Yeah.
That's her comfort dog. So This is where I get to say, hey, babe, welcome to the family. Nikkei is in Colombia. Good to see everybody. Good to see Marsha. It was so good to see Marsha yesterday. We got a chance to...
Well, you got a chance to see her. I didn't get a chance to see her.
Yeah, you had an appointment.
Yes.
Marsha, it was good to see you and Damon
morning.
yesterday.
I'm sorry I missed you guys.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. So, guys, if you are ready for this content today, put ready in the chat. Put ready in the chat. It's 8:03. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm excited about everybody. Good to see you guys. No worries for the shout out, Kawan. Good to see you, brother. Mm-hmm. Everything is doing good. If y'all are ready for this content, I need y'all to drop a string of readies in the chat. We're going to talk about managing versus resolving conflict, babe, in relationships. And it's a real situation. And I think a lot of people really don't understand that 69% of conflicts, particularly in marriage, isn't going to go anywhere.
Right. And that's primarily because most of the conflicts are over minor issues.
Yep.
They're not major issues that necessarily need to be resolved. Sometimes they're things you just need to put it nicely, get over.
Yeah.
The fact that he doesn't put the top on the toothpaste is not a major issue. The fact that he leaves his socks on the floor. There's things like that are conflicts. And that also goes to when we think about what a conflict is. Most people think of a conflict as a big thing. It's going to be a fight. Conflict is anytime you have a difference of opinion or different viewpoint on things.
Yep.
And so that can be with little things. That can be with big things. But all of it is conflict.
Yeah.
That's what conflict is. And if you look at it that way and realize even when it comes to the big thing, it's just you having a conversation and you guys may have a difference of opinion or a different viewpoint and you'll be able to get through it and you won't approach it with so much apprehension as a lot of people do.
Absolutely. Jackson, that's enough, brother. We know you're there. We'll be back in a minute. Jackson is whining. Shout out to my guy, Dominic Epps, the people's agent.
Dom.
If you are in the Virginia area, particularly Tidewater, and you are looking for some real estate property, you need an agent. Follow my man, the people's agent. He is amazing at what he does. We really appreciate him being a part of the MAPS community. Mm-hmm. And we're super excited to have everybody. So we got a string of readies. Does anybody remember what blueprint number 1 was? We did that a couple of weeks ago. But when we talked about that, baby, there are several blueprints to be able to managing your conflicts. And really it's strategy.
Right. Right.
So
right.
when you say that it's not that big of a deal, or you may have to just kind of get over it, or whatever the case may be, people just don't get over things. You have to strategize a way to move about in order to do that. You may have to get him out the crate. You may have to, because I'm talking louder and louder. And the louder I get, the more he yelps.
Okay.
Y'all do me a favor, hang tight, because Cherie's going to have to get him situated. See, now he's barking because you left the show, baby. Now you left the room, for crying out loud. Now she got to get him in the harness. Karen, it's not funny. It's not funny, Karen. I don't know why you're laughing. It's not funny. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about it and keep things going until Cherie gets started or gets settled. But for most people who are getting married, a lot of times you guys get tripped up over minor conflicts that happen all the time. We call them idiosyncrasies. You may call them being petty. And the truth of the matter is that there's a whole lot of pettiness going on in relationships that are really little molehills that will become mountains over time if you do not deal with them. Does that make sense, guys? And so oftentimes making the adjustment, and I see that, YB, becomes difficult because you intellectually know what needs to be done, but practically you don't know how to do it. And so Cherie has to get her little 8-month-old child here and sit down, because he is not going to behave unless he's up here with us. So we're going to have to send you to puppy training, brother. You're going to have to get some puppy training. Anyway. So now, current conflicts we talked about is blueprint
number one. Right.
Number one. And when we talk about current conflicts, what we're really talking about, guys,
is staying in the moment, not bringing up issues from the past, staying on focus with the particular issue at hand. Jack, stop. Staying focused on the issue at hand and not bringing out your laundry list of other things that have happened in the past, but staying in the moment and focusing on that one current issue at that time. And that's important because oftentimes when we get emotional, it's very easy for us to start pulling out all the stuff from the past and associating it to that particular issue.
Yeah.
But when you do that, you oftentimes won't wind up dealing with the issue at hand. You wind up dealing with other stuff.
Yeah.
And that issue still never gets resolved.
And so what we talk about, guys, is that you'll wind up getting historical after being hysterical, right? So you'll get hysterical, things will jump off, it'll get crazy, and then before you know it, you want to absolutely go down the rabbit hole of being absolutely historical. And now you're bringing up every little thing. This is not working out.
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Is it working out?
Yes, good.
I don't know about y'all. I'm distracted. I'm trying to figure it out. And I know y'all got to be distracted. Should we even talk about should we even talk about what we're talking about today?
Do you want to just talk about Jax?
Because I'm telling you right now, he is stealing the show. And I mean, I'm not mad about it. But I'm trying to make sure that y'all can focus. Can y'all focus? Are y'all good? Are y'all good? Good morning. What's up, George? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, the dog, we just got him. He just came home yesterday. He's 8 months old, and he's trying to get used to his surroundings. So I get it. But, Jackson, we got a show to do, brother. We got people here waiting. They didn't come to see you in your antics. Yes, he is a
flamingo.
He is a complete flamingo. Wow. Anyway.
Okay. So.
Conflict blueprint number 2 is attachment injuries. And when we talk about attachment injuries, what we're saying is that you're going to have to really be mindful of the triggers that happen inside of relationships, guys. And a lot of times people handle those triggers in a real negative kind of way. And as a result of that, you cannot stay on point and you can't stay focused.
No, I can't.
You want to just go ahead and let me do the show by myself?
No, I'm going to focus.
Okay, come on. Let's get it.
Okay.
So we're on conflict number 2, blueprint number 2. Let me ask you guys a question. Let's start here. How many of you guys really are challenged with conflict? You're challenged with conflict. Babe, I need you to look at the camera up here. You're challenged with conflict. You don't deal with conflict well. Okay, you're not distracted. Thank you, Nikkei. I need to hear that. Okay. You are really challenged when trying to navigate conflict. Raise your hand if that's you. If you are really challenged with dealing with conflict, navigating it properly, put your hand up. And the reason why I want to know that is because there are so many people, Cherie, who don't handle conflict well.
Right.
And it's not that you can't handle it. You got to learn how to handle it well because it's relentless.
Right. And going back to conflict blueprint number 2, when you think about attachment injuries, oftentimes we have those wounds from the past because we never dealt with those conflicts.
Yep.
And so because those wounds were never healed, because the issues were never dealt with, it leaves, it's like when something else happens that reminds you of it or that's similar, it's like somebody pouring salt on an old wound.
Yep.
But then you give that person all of the energy from the initial offense or whatever
Absolutely.
the initial injury was, and so you're bringing all that energy to that person when they may not have had anything to do with that. They may not have even been in your life during that time, but because you never resolved that issue, you never dealt with it. And as I said earlier, oftentimes people will not confront issues, particularly major issues, for a various number of reasons, but oftentimes it's because you don't want to rock the boat. You may be fearful that, if you confront it, like if you think of confrontation as fighting, you don't want to get into a fight, so you just won't deal with it. You'll just step back and just avoid any type of conflict because you don't want to get in a fight, instead of just realizing that conflict is simply having a conversation.
Yeah.
And if you can get control of your own emotions, you can have that conversation without it escalating to that point. Now, it does take two people not for it to escalate, but when you learn how to manage conflict, even if the other person starts to escalate it, you'll learn how to be able to tell them, hey, let's come back to this at another time when we're not emotional. We're able to come back to it. Where's your point?
No, I'm reading.
Oh, okay. You'll be able to come back to it at a time. Ask them, can you guys come back to it when you're not emotional so you can have a calm conversation?
We call it tabling the issue.
Right.
And when you table an issue, just think about an actual table. The idea of it is to leave it on the table so you can return to it.
Right.
Tabling the issue is not a technique that allows you to walk away and never deal with stuff. And that's why these little petty what did I say? Not insecurities.
Kind of small issues, insignificant issues.
Yeah. I said something else earlier. I can't think of what the word was. But a lot of times these little micro issues that go on in your relationships, guys, they grow up into being huge problems because they were never completely dealt with. Today, we're going to talk about conflict blueprint number 3.
Right. Real quick, I want to address Kim's comment. She said, for me, it depends on who is generating the conflict. And that's true, because depending on who the person is, we will respond differently. So you may respond a certain way with your parents in regard to conflict differently than you do with somebody that you're in a relationship with.
Yes.
Your family members, oftentimes you'll handle conflict with them differently also because you know how they respond in kind.
Exactly.
And so that will affect how you respond to conflict. But regardless, you have to learn how to be able to manage it in a way that you can deal with conflict and not avoid it. Because avoidance, there are some times when avoidance works.
Yep.
But oftentimes people use that as their go-to, and that's never a good go-to.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it's sometimes a good go-to, depending on the circumstance. We're not going to get into the 5 conflict management styles, but most people, what Sheri is saying is, they will lean on one and keep using it even when it's no longer working.
Right.
And that's the challenge. You have to become proficient in other ways of managing conflict. That's not today's talk, but that's something we've been dealing with in the MAPS Relationship Academy. By the way, if you are just jumping on and you are wondering who we are, my name's Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. This lovely young lady and that beautiful 8-month-old dog child is...
I'm Sheri Brooks Jr., author, speaker, relationship coach, and this is Jackson.
Yep.
New baby.
Absolutely. So Jackson is a new addition to our family, just got here yesterday. And so he's trying to get used to his surroundings. We got up super early this morning trying to figure it out. So I actually had to go back on a little coffee. So we got a little caffeine here, and I'm actually feeling my help coming on a little bit. Jackson, you good? You getting comfortable? Okay, can we go to blueprint number 3, Jax? All right, cool. If you want to be a part of the MAPS Relationship Academy, do me a favor, go to glennpbrooksjr.com. It's right there on your screen. And sign up for a free discovery session. We have couples communities. We have a parenting community. We have a singles community, men only, women only. And it's group coaching environments where we get to work with people every single week. And we're pulling apart your specific scenarios. And we're going through what we're talking about here. But we're going very deep, very wide, and we're working through challenges. So I want y'all to put in the chat blueprint number 3. Put that in the chat. That's what we're getting ready to talk about. Blueprint number 3. Babe, let me ask you a quick question. And by the way, Nikkei, you just blessed me. The word I was looking for was idiosyncrasies.
Ah.
It's the other word for petty.
Okay.
Yeah, innuendos is right on that line too, Kothia. I love it. I appreciate it. See, the Breakfast with the Brookses tribe is just freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate y'all helping a brother out when we're trying to figure it out. So blueprint number 3, I don't see any in the chat. I'm not going to go any further till I see some blueprint number 3. Okay, we got one.
Hey,
I need to see at least 5 blueprint number 3s in the chat before we go. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Kothia, for number 4. One more blueprint number 3, and then we get started. Guys, this is significantly important, particularly if you want your relationships to work long term. Most people are getting hung up, and this blueprint right here really helps you to get unlocked. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you, Kawan. I appreciate that. Blueprint number 3, put this in the chat, is gridlock and dialogue. Put that in the chat. Gridlock and dialogue. Gridlock and dialogue. I was having breakfast yesterday, impromptu. Maps family was in town. Marsha and Damon, their kids, Damien. And the truth, did I say Damien? Damon, I'm sorry. I'm tired. They were in town. We had a great time. We were sitting there talking. And one of the things that I realized, I think about their story when they came into the Maps community probably a year and a half ago, they stayed gridlocked. Right. I mean, that was their thing. Gridlock, locked into where you're having the same argument over and over and over and over again. And after a while, guys, that becomes the breaking point of most relationships. Right. And if you're not careful and you do not know how to navigate through gridlock, get off the freeway, take another route, right? Pump the brakes or speed up and get into another lane, you are going to be in trouble. So I want to read this really quickly, and I want to set this up, and then we're going to talk about this. What's going on, Chris? Good to see you guys. Shout out to everybody in the community. By the way, guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, we just went over 600 subscribers, and so I am super excited about that. And his arm is a little jammed up. There you go, buddy.
That's because he keeps trying to get my
He's trying to get out. That's what it is.
But
But I want to say thank you so much to all of these folks, all of you guys who have subscribed to our channel. Go ahead and take time to do that right now. But I want y'all to hear this. Couples are often either gridlocked or in dialogue on their perpetual problems. And research suggests that these couples concern personality differences or core fundamental needs. Being in dialogue, the preferred status, listen to this, is when the couple has learned to accept their differences on that topic, even though minor arguments arise occasionally. Overall, the couple has made peace on the issue and they agree to disagree. So gridlock is that argument that just won't go anywhere. You just don't see eye to eye. The dialogue is being able to have conversations around the subjects, even though the gridlock is still there.
Right. So it's a skill to be able to learn how to disagree agreeably. And oftentimes couples don't learn how to disagree agreeably. Everybody, when you find yourself having the same conflict over and over again, you guys are talking about the same issue. Yeah. It means that you guys are not willing to agree to disagree, because there are going to be some things you are not going to agree on. Right. But if you want peace in your home, you're going to have to learn how to be able to agree to disagree on certain things. But it takes certain skills to be able to do that, to be able to say, okay, you're not necessarily yielding on it. Okay, this is where I stand on this. This is where you stand on it. Okay, well, we just aren't going to agree on this. So this is a topic that this is not going to get resolved. So let's just leave it. Yeah. We don't need to keep revisiting it. Yeah. Because unless your viewpoint changes, or my viewpoint changes, nothing is going to change about this. And we're going to have to just agree to disagree. And that's where also one of you has to take the lead if it's something that a decision needs to be made. To say, okay, well, I'm going to I know we disagree on this, but I think that we should do this as a family. Yes. And say, okay, I don't necessarily agree, but okay, you go ahead and do it. Yeah. But that's agreeing to disagree agreeably without repeating the same conversation over and over again. And like I said, most couples, if you look at any conversations that you guys keep revisiting, you keep having the same issue. You guys are not going to agree on this.
Absolutely.
You've talked about it several times.
Absolutely. I want y'all to understand this. Moving from gridlock to dialogue involves this one thing: examining. Put that in the chat. And I'm getting ready to help you guys understand something, because I can hear y'all's voices in my head. Some of you guys are saying, but you don't understand my situation. I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried the other, and I don't seem to be able to get anywhere. How in the world can I navigate through this conflict with this person agreeably, because we cannot see eye to eye on that issue, and we cannot agree to disagree. And I want you to understand is that fundamentally being able to move from gridlock to dialogue, gridlock to a conversation, involves examining the meaning and the dreams for the basis of why that partner is steadfast in that perspective. I'm going to say it again. It involves examining the meaning and the dreams, the visions, the story that actually formed the basis for that particular partner's steadfast perspective. You got that, Jax? You got that?
And
the truth of the matter is that what most of us won't do is we will not slow down long enough to basically examine where you're coming from and what informs that.
Right.
Does that make sense? Why you grinning?
I'm grinning because even speaking of Jax, with him being here, so this was a gridlock issue for us.
For years.
Because
Please tell the story.
I've had several dogs over the course of my life. We actually had 2 dogs since we've been married that did not go well.
Yeah, having them with us didn't go well.
Did not go well.
For a bunch of reasons.
Right. And so because of that, Glenn had decided we never going to have another dog.
Yeah.
We don't want no dogs.
I had a bad experience to some degree. Not traumatic, but just irritating, if you will.
And so...
both situations.
Right. And so for the last, I guess, year or so, really, I started talking about really wanting to have another dog and my reasons for wanting to have one.
I need y'all to hear this. Your what?
My reasons.
Your what?
My reasons.
Your what?
My reasons.
That's the examining part. Keep going.
Right. And so sharing with you my reasons why I wanted a dog. It wasn't just to have a dog. I knew, because for those of you that, may know, may not know, I've struggled with depression most of my life. And recently, particularly, have been struggling a lot with anxiety. But I've always known that a dog helped with my depression, helped with my mental wellness. And so that was something that I knew that I wanted and I needed in my life. But for the longest time, Glenn was like, no, I don't care. We're not doing that.
Did I actually say I don't care?
Yes.
Wow. That was me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. But he was willing to listen. Recently, the last couple of months, he's been listening to me, listening to my reasoning, and trying to understand it better. And then when my therapist really actually suggested that I get a comfort dog, he, gained a better understanding of it and was willing to yield.
Absolutely.
And we were able to, because for years we agreed to disagree, because before I was like, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm not going to go out and go buy a dog just because he said we can't have a dog because I want a dog. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go against that. We had agreed to disagree on that. I wanted one. He didn't want one. It was like, okay, well, we just won't get one because it ain't that big a deal.
Right.
But it got to the point where it was something that I really needed.
Absolutely.
And at that point, he was willing to yield, and therefore now we have Jack.
So I want y'all to understand the navigation that went into that process, and I appreciate that, Kofia. But the truth of the matter is that I began listening to her reason. And more important, I started examining where it was informed. So for instance, the conflict for me is having to care for another child.
Right.
That's my issue. I'm not a dog hater. I'm not a dog lover, but I don't want the responsibility of having to care for our children are grown, grown. Our oldest has children of their own, right? Married with children of her own. I enjoy being a grandparent. They come over, we have a great time, they go home, right? I am living my best life, right? So when Sheri is talking about introducing something else into my space that, quite frankly, my life right now is not framed around that.
Mm-hmm.
And because we both have to live here,
right.
we both have to get along in relationship,
right.
she decided to
consider
me,
right.
if that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, and I'm going to try my best not to cry, is that I realized when her therapist said she needs a comfort dog, I was challenged with the thought, will you consider her?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, we're talking about gridlock and going from gridlock to dialogue. The gridlock was the conflict. It was, yo, I don't want a responsibility of another child, basically. You know, I was going to say human being, not a human being, but a child, for sure. 8 months, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But how do I navigate this, right? And so in my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe this is a phase because Sheri is a huge dog lover. She has had dogs all her life. We've had 2 since we've been married. I know this. So I'm kind of waiting for this to pass, thinking that this is just one of those things.
Right.
It didn't pass.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized the reason why it wasn't passing, guys, had nothing to do with her desires.
Right.
It had everything to do with her need, or nothing to do with her want, but everything to do with her need.
Right.
And it wasn't that she wanted a dog, she needed a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, guys? And so I want you guys to understand that unfortunately, most people are not willing to look past the gridlock
right.
to the problem.
Right.
Have you ever been going down the road and you recognize all of a sudden it's a parking lot on the highway and you're trying to figure out what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And you get all the way up, inch by inch by inch, take you 20 minutes to get past this thing, only to look over to the left-hand side and there's an accident on the other side of the road.
Right, right.
And the reason why there's gridlock on your side of the road is because of the rubbernecking or the paying attention to the other problem.
Mm-hmm.
If people in this lane would mind their business and look ahead.
Right.
Does that make sense, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about the camera going in and out of focus. But look ahead. I'm moving too fast.
Okay.
But look ahead. They could see what's informing that.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, it would ease up the tension.
Right.
Well, for us, that's exactly what happened. And it took the therapist to say, because here's what really happened. Sheri started dismissing her need.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that makes me want to cry. Because she wanted to consider me so much that she was willing to look and dismiss her need at the moment. So I had to say, and I heard it through the counselor, when the therapist said, no, tell your husband I said that it's time and she needs a comfort dog. And I'm telling you right now, I heard God. I heard wisdom. I heard something say, bro, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Now you need to go ahead and push past that, look down. And if I could use a scriptural reference, this is where when God looked beyond our faults and he saw our need, he provided a savior.
Right.
Does that make sense, guys? I hope that makes sense to you. So in other words, the conflict was we was in sin. Now, I don't mean to preach, but I want to give you a principle.
Right.
That was the conflict. But he said, in order for me to fix that conflict, I'm going to have to move past this gridlock and go down the annals of time and see that they're going to be eternally separated from me if I don't make a move. So here's what we going to do, Jesus. Jesus, you ready? He was like, got you, Pop. What you trying to do? What's up? What's good? Then what he does is he says, we're going to go and we're going to provide ourselves a ransom for many, meaning the world. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense, guys? And so what he did is he literally looked beyond the fault, the conflict, saw our need for a savior, and provided that need, thus easing the conflict. I hope that helps. And that I went straight past the teacher mode, out of coach mode, but I hope that helps. And in relationships, if I were to put it mild here in our relationships, I had to look past the fact that, no, man, she ain't just wanting no dog. This ain't the dog lover in her.
Right.
This is a way, no different than I would not say no to a prescription.
Right.
Doctor write a prescription. I'm not gonna say, nah, I ain't gonna go get your prescription for you. Are you kidding me? So why am I saying all this, guys? Because in relationships, Sheri, if we can't move past that by examining what is down the road, I promise you the gridlock won't ease.
Right. And another part of that, I think people, when you're having conversations about a conflict, you have to really hear the person. And I like to say, hear their heart. Because people will share things with you, and sometimes they can't share it. They can't articulate specifically what they need.
That's it right there, babe.
But you have to be able to hear the person's heart. And oftentimes we get so focused on the words that we don't hear beyond that.
That's good.
And so when you can hear beyond that, when you can look beyond their actual words to what it is, the concept of what they're saying, the heart of the matter that they're sharing, if you can get to the point that you can hear that in your spouse, you can hear their heart in your children, you can hear the heart in the person that your friend, whoever you're having a conflict with, you're oftentimes able to realize that, number one, it's not about you. This is about them. It's something that they need or something that they're going through, that they're trying to, work through. But you'll also be able to then consider them.
Right.
And realize that it's not about you and your wants. What you jumping up for?
He listened to the motorcycle and went up down the road.
You're able to consider them and not consider you. Because the truth of the matter is, people in general, we're selfish.
Yep.
And we want what we want.
Yep.
And it's very hard, as much as we can say we love somebody, we want to be with them, our first instinct is always to look out for number one.
100%.
To look out for what we want first. What's going to make us comfortable? What's going to make my life comfortable? What's going to make me feel good? That's always our first. Instinctually, you go to that. And so it takes work to be able to consider the other person. And when you can hear that person's heart and hear where they're coming from, it helps you to then consider them.
So, guys, one of the things I'm going to leave you guys with this, I just need you to, and we're going to put together some practical tips and say, okay, that's a great story, Coach. I'm moved. How do I do that? So I want you guys to write these couple of things down, and we're going to let you go. I'm super excited about the singles intensive that we're going to be doing this morning. For those of you guys who are going to be in the singles intensive, it's a program that we're running every quarter for single people who want to do some intensive work on becoming their best version of themselves. If you want to know more about that, just go to glennpbrooksjr.com, sign up for a discovery session. We can definitely tell you about that, but I'm excited about that this morning. So we're going to get out of here. I'm going to give you guys a couple of quick tips. And so the question is, Coach, how do we do that? How do I do that? Number one, I want y'all to put this in the chat. Now, this is going to sound very elementary, but I need y'all to hear this from a practical perspective. Put this in the chat. Take turns. Put it in the chat. Take turns. When I say take turns, I mean take turns speaking and listening. Take turns.
But I wanted to say.
Share.
But I wanted.
Go ahead and talk.
No.
You hear me taking? I'm giving her a turn.
Because what normally happens, especially in a conflict, is that the person will say something and then you're going to interject. Take turns. Let them share. Let them get out everything they need to say.
Yep.
Take notes if you need to. Write down. But let them get it out. Because oftentimes people, I know for me, I'll start not rambling, but I might start off saying one thing, but by the time I finish saying it, it makes sense.
Yes. Yes.
But if you don't let me finish and you just go off the first sentence I say, we're going to be going down a whole nother avenue because it takes me a while to get my words together.
Right. No, go.
And so by practicing taking turns, you allow that person to get it all the way out. Then you say, okay, are you finished? Can I share now?
Yes.
Then you get to share.
Yes.
And they do the same. And you both get to really listen to each other.
Right. Listen, as the speaker, you should do this. I want you to say, when it's your turn to speak, I need you to communicate very clearly. When it's your turn to speak, I need you to communicate very clearly. Don't speak in abstracts. Don't speak historically. Stay in the moment. Stay on point. Tell people honestly, listen to me carefully, how you feel. Don't beat around the bush. Listen to me, my chameleons, my flamingos, who want to go all the way around Robin Hood's barn just to get to where you need to be. Say what needs to be said and speak very clearly. Here's how you know if you're speaking clearly. After you've said a few things, I want you to begin saying, does that make sense? Did you understand? Tell me what you're hearing. That is ensuring that your message has been communicated clearly. Right. It's not the other person's turn to talk yet. You're just taking a pause, a break, to be able to say, I want to make sure that I'm connecting. Anybody ever talk on a phone and they just kept talking and the person got disconnected and you just kept talking?
Right.
And you're like, 30 minutes down the road.
Right.
I've been walking in a mall somewhere and I'm just having a whole conversation and Sheri done dipped into another store. And I'm sitting there saying, where the ham sandwich did she go?
Right.
I did not take time to make sure we were still connected.
Right.
So I need you to communicate clearly and honestly.
Right.
While you have the opportunity to talk. When it's your turn to listen to me carefully. I need you to create a safe space for the speaker to talk. Y'all hear me? Create space. Say, yes, coach, we hear you. Create a safe space for the speaker to talk. Sheri is phenomenal at that. Part of that is her temperament. It allows her to really listen well. She has the temperament. Many of you are high chameleons, high turtles. You guys are the best listeners by nature. Lions and flamingos, we are the worst listeners by nature. However, we are the best speakers. We can talk with no problem. We have no problem getting it out, right? Whereas chameleons and turtles have a big problem getting it out.
Right.
So if you're really dealing with an extroverted or an introverted temperament type person, you're going to have to understand that. And if you need more help with understanding that, there's a whole assessment we can give you. Again, go to glennpbrooksjr.com, sign up for a free discovery session, and we can get you one of those assessments and help you understand what animal you are and how to better communicate. So, babe, that's really all we got. I could go on and on and on, but I want to cut this a little short because I just want to really make way for this opportunity we have to jump in this room with these singles a little bit later on. Anybody got any questions, anything that they want to shoot out? I'll take one or two questions if I could answer it in this particular format. Maybe it's specific to your situation before we get off the call today. Babe, did this help you?
Yes, it helped me. I think so.
Has Jackson helped you?
Yes, Jackson helped me.
He is getting used to his... Is that a backpack or a front pack?
It's a front.
It's a front pack. Got a harness and everything.
Yeah.
Y'all, this woman that went out and bought more little stuff. I'm trying to figure out what it all does, right? A lot of numbers this morning.
I apologize for the disruption this morning, but he's still getting used to being here. So just he wanted to make his appearance today. So I appreciate you guys being patient with us this morning.
Yeah.
It's a little different show. I got to go get the grandbabies. Yeah,
you got to go get the grandbabies. So listen, we got a lot going on. I don't see any questions. Linda, you're right. Some turtles do have a problem listening, particularly if they're very high turtle and low chameleon.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because they are so analytical. They're forming arguments before they even get it out. And so, no, that is absolutely true. It really depends on the level of turtle you had. No need to apologize. I love it.
Thank you guys so much. Once again, if this is your first time joining us, please subscribe to our channel. As Glenn shared, I think we just reached 600.
Yeah, 600 subscribers. But we need 1,000 to be able to start. I think it's 1,000 before we can start going live on our phone.
Right.
So we're trying to push to get to 1,000 so that YouTube allows us to go live on our cell phones.
So please subscribe and ring the bell to get notifications. Share this out to your friends and family if you felt like it helped you and if you think it'll help somebody else. And also, if you'd like to learn more about what it is that we do, please visit us online at glennpbrooksjr.com, and you can learn out information about our different services that we provide. Yeah. And as always,
before we go there, baby, I'm sorry. Kwan had a quick question. Okay. I'm going to answer this one question because he's new to the community. I'm going to certainly help do him a solid. Okay. What's the difference between listening and hearing? Let me help you fundamentally understand the difference. When you have listened to the person, you've taken time to take it in. When you're hearing a person, it's just words.
Right.
When you're listening, the reason why you know you're listening is because you can absolutely give them back everything that you heard them say because you've taken it in. You've mulled it over. You've contemplated. You've pulled it apart. You've assessed it. You've reflected a little bit. Now you can respond as opposed to react, right? When you're just hearing a person, it's just words. It's just sounds. I hear you. Anybody heard that statement? I can hear you, but I can't see you. Or I see you, but I can't hear you. That's because it's one or the other. When you're listening, you both hear it and you're taking it in,
Right.
and you're mulling it over, and you can be able to regurgitate that thing in a way that the person understands that they have been listened to. And I don't think there's anything more important in relationships, not just coupled relationships, but relationships, period. People have a need to be heard, and people have a greater need to be listened to.
Right.
Does that make sense, guys? And when a person in a relationship doesn't feel like that you're listening, here's what I can guarantee you. You are sabotaging your relationship, because now you're ensuring that they will go wherever they need to go in order to be listened to. And that's always a distraction, something that leads them away from the relationship. That doesn't have to be another person. It could be their job.
Right.
It could be their hobby, whatever the case may be. But they'll get enveloped into something else because they feel like that they are being accepted there. And that's actually my job, to create that kind of environment as a husband in our relationship. So that's why that's a skill set that you need to work on and you need to develop. And it takes time. It takes time, and it takes getting in a room with people who know what they're doing. Makes great sense. No worries.
Thanks,
No worries.
Quan. Thanks for the question. And
go ahead.
Say, at the end of the day,
here's what we know to be true. You can't get to any place of significance by yourself. Why?
Because we all need some help.
Y'all
you guys
be good.
Have a great Saturday.
We'll talk soon.